Hey there, it's Chris's birthday today, so I've decided to make him a birthday cake. Keto version as well, so we've got all the kids coming over for dinner tonight. He doesn't know, at least I don't think he knows because I haven't told him. So I've made this cake before and I do have the recipe on another video, but I usually just make it as like a tea cake. So it's going to be a raspberry cake with lots of cream around it, lots of berries on top. And I'm going to make a double version to what I usually make nearly every other week. So I'll see how this one goes. It should be nice. Well, I know it's nice, but the carb lovers should love it too. So I'm going to make this in 2 batches because I actually want to have a thin layer of maybe a raspberry coulis or something in between and some cream, and then lather the whole thing in cream. And because of my OCD, I like to have the exact measurements in each of my tins. So I have 2 bowls. So what we need is our dry ingredients first. So I need to have 3/4 of a cup plus a little bit extra of almond meal, almond flour, almond meal, whatever you want. So I don't do level measurements. This is quite a wet recipe, so I do go a little bit more. So I've got 3/4 of a cup of this that I need. This is only 1/4. And a bit more, okay? So that's my almond meal. About a tablespoon of baking powder. This is a dessert spoon, I know. We have arguments in the house about this, but I use this as a tablespoon. So anyway, I have a tablespoon of baking powder. A sprinkle of cinnamon. And a bit more. And 3 tablespoons of sweetener. So I use the Natvia. I actually bought another one the other day that says it's organic, but I'll try that next. But I know this one works. So I've got 1, counting, 2, and 3. So 3 tablespoons of the sweetener of your choice. And I'll put the wet ingredients in a minute. Got to get the eggs out. Anyway, because I'm making 2, I've planned ahead and put all the ingredients in here. So this is exactly the same mixture into this bowl here. So I need 4 eggs in each mixture. Okay, so I've got 4 eggs there in each bowl. I want some vanilla. About a teaspoon. Everything's about in my house, so I just wing it. So it's a little bit more than a teaspoon, but you can never have enough vanilla, right? Okay, time to mix the ingredients. I've still got to put some butter in here. Alright. So I've just quickly mixed all of that together. I've got to get the butter now and put 1/2 cup of butter in each of those. So there's a cup in here. I'm just going to put 1/2 cup in each bowl. Pretty good. Okay, so my batter is all ready. You can actually just use this on its own and make like a tea cake, and I'd use a little bit less almond flour if you're going to do that. Maybe add some lemon as well, or some lemon zest. It makes a nice tea cake, and when it's cold you can lather butter on it. Anyway, this is a birthday cake, so let's get back to it. So raspberries. These are just frozen raspberries. I'm just going to put that much. And then, so I'm just going to mix that through. I think I actually want some more. And And I might crush them up a little bit too, just to get some little bits scattered through the cake. So all I've done is stirred through the raspberries. And I think I want some more. I like the colour. Actually, I like the raspberries. I like making things up on the fly too. Definitely enough raspberries this time. So I've probably put in about 2 handfuls in each bowl. If you want the weight of it, I've still got nearly half a container. There's 300 grams in this, so I've probably used about 150 to 200 grams of raspberries for 2 cakes. You don't need to put too much grease or butter or anything on this. It's quite a fatty cake, as a keto cake should be. So I find that it doesn't really stick to the pan anyway. Okay. So that's one cake mix there. It's actually quite heavy. And this one here, I'll let you guys see what's happening this time. I really hate this spatula. I like bigger, softer, more pliable spatulas, but they don't seem to last in the dishwasher. So if anyone can find me a spatula that's not going to break and deteriorate in the dishwasher, I'd be most happy. So this will now go into the oven for about half an hour. Obviously I'll stick a skewer in it and see how it's going. Exactly the same ingredients, but one looks more grainy than the other. I don't know why that is. But anyway, it'll still be delicious. So, as I said, about half an hour in the oven. Temp is on 180 degrees Celsius. We're in Australia, so 180 Celsius, about 30 minutes. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to actually make this raspberry sauce or raspberry coulis or whatever it is. I've never actually made one before. So, let's experiment. We have a bowl. Some more raspberries. Don't know what I'm doing. I don't think I need much sauce. So I've probably got a handful of raspberries. I'm going to stick them in here. I'm going to nuke them for a few seconds. So I'm really not sure what I'm doing right now. As I said, this part's an experiment. I think I've just had an idea. So I've got the raspberries in here. They're a little bit warm. I'm trying to create a smooth sauce with a little bit of sweetness to put on the top layer, on the middle layer of the cakes when they're done. And I'm just thinking that I might use a little bit of butter in there because that'll help smooth it out, in my head anyway. So if I just put a little bit of butter in there, you know my little bits just keep growing. Put a little bit of butter in there, that'll give it the creaminess that it needs. The raspberry flavour, and then it'll have some sweetness in there. I'll probably just put, well, this, I guess this is a flat spoon, dessert spoon, tablespoon, whatever it is in your house. And I'll mix that together and see how it tastes. So I've blended that and it's nice and thick and creamy. It's actually really, really tasty too. So I've just used maybe about that much butter, a level spoon of sweetener, this is mine, and a handful of raspberries, which I've microwaved for about 30 to 60 seconds. This is really, really yum. So I'll just set that aside. If it goes solid, it'll probably spread like a butter anyway, but I'll show you later anyway. It's so delicious. So it's 11:05. The cake's been in the oven for about 35 minutes and I have just tested it and it's ready to come out. But I do have to say, you know, this coolie raspberry stuff I made before looks a bit gooey. It's absolutely delicious and I'm really struggling not to eat a whole lot because it's so tasty. Anyway, cake. So you can see that's quite done. It's actually raised quite a bit more than it usually does as well. I probably could have nearly just done one batch and then cut it in half and put cream on it. But it's actually now going to be a super high, really delicious, hopefully, yes it will be, birthday cake. So, do you love my green stuff? I do. I'd want it, wouldn't I? This is the most ridiculous cake pan. The only way to get anything out is like this. So there you go. One raspberry cake layer and the other one's over there. I'll take that out. I'm going to leave it on the tray just so that it doesn't, because it's quite soft. I'll leave it on the tray until it cools down a little bit, and then when I'm ready to put this stuff on, if I can hold off on eating it myself, I'll come back and show you what I'm going to do there. So I'm not the most patient tree in the forest, and I decided that I didn't want to wait for the cake to cool down, so I chucked it in the fridge. I removed it from its tray, threw it in the fridge for a little while just to cool it down quickly. Chris is coming home in about an hour as well, so I really like to get this finished before he comes home. So I have my cooled cakes and a nice old vintage plate, because the old boy's vintage, he needs something old to look at. Right, so just lay the bottom piece down and you're in luck. I only touched a little bit of this. So I haven't refrigerated the raspberry stuff. So what I'm going to do now, on this one I've actually put the base faced up, but this one here I'm going to put it face down, just so that this is easier to put the cream on. Sit that on top like that. So it's got nothing else in it, it's just normal whipping cream. And I'll just decorate this with some berries. So hopefully I'll be able to add some photos of empty plates at the end of the day, when all the kids have had their cakes, because they don't want to be YouTube stars like I do, so I don't think they're going to want to come into the video. You'll just have to do with photos. And you can't have a raspberry cake without raspberries, so I'll put some fresh ones on the top here. I have to go and get some candles later too, but I don't think I'll get 54 of them. Okay, so one raspberry birthday cake. Happy birthday, Chris. Hey again. The cake was a real success, so there's not much left of it now, just enough for Chris and I to hoe into today sometime. We may just extend it another day. It was a success, as I said. The kids loved it. All the plates were empty. I didn't get a chance to take any photos of the empty plates, but that's cool. You'll just have to take my word for it. Cake looks pretty good though. All the strawberries, or the raspberries on the inside there with that layer of raspberry jam or coulis or whatever it is that I decided to call it, with a nice healthy layer of cream.